This time we're actually going to get into solving these equations. Now, solving means that we're going to find all of the values of x that make the equation true. They do give us some limits on this since these functions are periodic and they travel in waves. There would actually be infinitely many solutions. However, if we limit it to only looking once around the unit circle between angles 0 and 2 pi, then we'll get a finite number of solutions. So here we go. We've got cosine of x is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. So to figure this out, the first thing I would have to do is get the trig expression by itself on one side of the equation. Now this one's already set up that way. It's already got the trig expression alone. So now I can start thinking about what angles would give me negative root 3 over 2. Now to do this, I'm going to start by figuring out which quadrants I should look in. So in which quadrants would cosine be negative? I'll draw myself a little picture here to help me figure that out. Cosine is the x value on the unit circle. So here in quadrant 1, the x's are positive. In quadrant 2, the x's are negative. Quadrant 3, x is negative, and quadrant 4, x is positive. So that means, since I've got cosine of x has to be a negative value, I would be looking for answers in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. So I'm expecting probably 2 answers here. Okay, next up, I would need to figure out what reference angle I would need to use. So I'm going to use my hand trick backwards this time. Cosine is the number of fingers above the one that I have folded down. In order to get a root 3 over 2, that means I need 3 fingers above the one I fold down. So if I'm looking at my hand, I count from the thumb down, 1, 2, 3. That would mean I'm folding down my ring finger. And the ring finger is pi over 6 angle. So what I need now is pi over 6 in quadrant 2 and pi over 6 in quadrant 3. So I'm going to draw myself a quick little picture of that. Pi over 6 is the little one. So this angle is pi over 6. I need to know what this angle is. So if this one is pi over 6, that's between the angle that I have and pi. Then I could take pi and subtract pi over 6, and I would get the remaining angle there, which is 5 pi over 6. I would do the same for quadrant 3. So in quadrant 3, I need the pi over 6 angle. This angle is pi over 6. The one that I actually need is in standard form here, from there to there. So this one is pi over 6 beyond pi. So to find it, I would say pi plus pi over 6, which would be 7 pi over 6. So my solutions for this equation are 5 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6. Alrighty, so now you're going to try one that's similar to that. This equation here, sine of x is equal to root 2 over 2, and then answer that question on the Google form.